Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we're doing teamwork again today, and I've installed a new mod that I'm going to show you here. This is the very awesome Transfer Window Planner. Anybody who has used Alex Moon's calculator will recognize this pork chop plot device, maybe not this specific pork chop plot, but the fact that I'm doing a pork chop plot in the game, thanks to Trigger AU and his fantastic reimagining of the Transfer Window Planner. Him and Alex Moon got together, or well, he really contacted Alex Moon and said, hey, please, can I use your stuff? And Alex Moon was like, sure. And they got together and did this. So I have recalculated my Duna Kerbin window. It's a little bit later than I planned. I think the one I planned is probably right around here, and it just costs more Delta V. So I'm going to delete this one, and let's go ahead and, I'm going to delete the one that I made with a maneuver node. And I'm going to go for the much better, much cooler one from here. And it should be a lot less Delta V. Not that I need to worry about that sort of thing, but hey, why not? But in the meantime, we don't really need this anymore, because the next thing that's going to happen is in 21 days, we are going to do a Dres burn. It's going to be a boring 6.5 minute burn, so I'm not going to make you sit through it. But I'll come back as I am getting my nice clean connection to Dres. Okay, this long burn is almost done. I am just waiting for my ascending node and Dres's orbit to be touching each other, and right about now. We don't have... There we go. Little encounter markers. That's what I want. Okay. Whew. That took a long time. I'm not gonna lie. Now we just need to do this sort of thing here where we find the right encounter, which might take a while. Should be able to bring these two guys right in on each other. And bam, we have an encounter. That is good enough for me. Okay, I'm going to delete node 2 because it's not actually useful. And this, we need to actually... Can we edit these? I don't know if we can edit the ones. We can, okay. I find it useful if I type read the note. It gets me to actually read the note. Okay, and then the next thing to happen is he's going to leave Kerbin Sphere of Influence, and then we've got this Eve window, and I don't think we have anything to launch to Eve, but I'm gonna look through my ships here. Let's get him out of Kerbin Sphere of Influence. Oh yeah, we do. We've got Kyle's EDC, the Flash. Yeah, the rest of these are either asteroid stuff, or I could always send this Science Probe, but I'm kind of waiting until we get higher. Every time I want to launch this thing, I'm like, well, yeah, but we're almost to here, so. The Flash. Oh, it looks scary. And there is an abort sequence, so we'll test that on the launch pad for fun and profit. But let's see who's going to be flying this crazy ship. Not me, that's for sure. Super Kerman, you're up. You're scared and completely uncourageous. But Soups, you are in the command seat. So let's go ahead and do this. We are going to, as they say, simulate a launch failure. And actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and simulate it by actually launching, and because this is one of Kyle's ships, so for all we know, it will have a launch failure. Okay, so far pretty good. And then we're like, you know what? Oops. What are we going to do? Let's go ahead and hit the backspace. Oh, that's pretty awesome. He just has enough to get by it. Then we can just come back down. The ship is heading up. It will vanish in a second. Oh, things are exploding on the ground. That's our launch stage going up and us coming down. Coming down at a very fast 12 meters per second. That's something I need to remember. Coming in, I'm going to have to use the engine to slow this down if I want the craft to survive landing. at under 7 meters per second, and done and done. Okay. Okay, I see no reason to dilly-dally. We've seen what this thing can do, so in 3, 2, 1, launch. And this thing has a lot of beef off the pad. I think I'm going to tone it down to about 1.7, and then I'm probably going to turn the engine off when we get up to about 0.8 atmospheric efficiency here. We'll go up to 0.9. Okay, engine off. We're just riding the plume up here. We could do a material study, but we all know we're not going to do that. We have basically no control authority except for the tiny little pod. But we can still keep ourselves upright here. Eventually we're going to want to start turning over, and I would be happy if we could start turning over now, but I'm not going to use engine thrust, considering we're already over atmospheric efficiency. Not a big deal. Got a lot of boost here, so I think we're fine. And there we go. Those things are gone. I'm just going to do the tilt now, because we're, like I said, we're going a little bit faster than we normally would. And I'm doing the crazy 45-degree tilt, just because we got up so fast. I'm just going to sit at this until we're at about 30 or so. Kind of worried, actually, now about our thrust to weight. But, I mean, it's 1.6. That's not bad. But I'm just looking at our prograde going down. We're already going 20 degrees. So I probably shouldn't have gone over 45. I probably should have gone over to about 60 degrees. But oh well, that's what happens when you don't when you don't design the ship. You don't know exactly how it works, and then you fly it, wasting a bit of fuel on the what they call gravity drag. Even though the people who don't call it gravity drag hate the people who call it gravity drag for some reason. But I think it's a very apt term. It's the losses you incur due to fighting gravity instead of pushing your ship forward. Now that right there is an engine. I guess that was the Separatrons doing that. This engine actually doesn't have very much beef to it. It's 1.21 thrust to weight. I could kick on... Oh, no, I couldn't. There's no engines under these guys, I don't think. Now, those are just struts holding him on. We've still got 8 grand in Delta V total, so I am by no means worried. We are at 40 degrees, so I could definitely tilt over here. Or 40 degrees. We're at 40 kilometers. So we're actually about where we want to be at this point of the flight. So I'm pretty happy with this. Once we get up to 45, I'm going to bring this thing down. And we are doing the final burn here to get this guy into orbit. Nice 78 by now. 77 orbit. I think that's good. And now we have this stage here that has a little bit less delta V than it takes to get out of curb and sphere of influence. And I have two choices basically. I can drop this thing in curb and sphere of influence and wait for it to encounter moon and get tossed out, which is actually what I'm probably going to end up doing. Or I could transfer a little bit of fuel in it, which is I think what I'm not going to end up doing. This is a Poodle, and this is a Rockomax Skipper, and this whole stage here will have less or more ISP than the ship, or not ISP, thrust to weight. So, or you know what I mean. It's more efficient. My words don't work sometimes. But yeah, we don't really have anything to do for 6 days until our Eve orbit here, and it looks like we're gonna have to burn on Faith, and then do a mid-course correction here. To go up a little bit. But that means we're also burning too much, so we're gonna, oops. Or actually, we're not burning enough. There we go. So there's basically our even counter. But we're going to wait 6 days for that. Okay, I have 2 quick maneuver nodes set up to get an encounter. I can tweak it at the ascending node. Or descending node, actually, is what it's going to be. I can tweak my encounter to get a nice, tight arrow braking at Eve, probably is what I'm going to end up doing. And as I have said, I am going to, even though it's going to take more than the 904 meters per second here to escape Kerbin's Sphere of Influence, I'm still going to drop this thing, and because we're equatorial, it will eventually encounter Moon and either crash, get thrown out of the system, or get sent on a Kerbin intersection trajectory. And I'm going to guess it's going to be less than a minute. I mean, this part is 47 seconds, and then we've got about 120 meters per second left of this, which should, yeah, I'm going to say maybe a minute. We'll burn 30 seconds ahead of time. Yeah, more important than anything is getting the orbit correct. More important than getting the burn right, although with only a 1 minute burn, the two should be pretty much the same thing. So much so that I think I'm going to go into free, or not free, I'm going to chase and turn on my thing. We're going to watch it from here. That was pretty awesome. nice camera angle there. And we're just do the last few meters per second. There we go. Okay, this should be as perfect as we can get it, so let's delete node 1. Now we're going to go to node 2. And now we need to tweak node 2 so we actually get an encounter. And it looks like we already have one. I'm going to go plus and minus on the time, and it looks like we still have our encounter, so that's pretty sweet. Let's go ahead and focus view on Eve, though. And let's see if we can make this encounter better. It looks like we can by either going prograde or radial. So let's go ahead and try a little bit of -10 on the prograde, and it's gone already. Let's go -1 on the prograde. Let's go positive on the prograde. There we go. We want to actually get around this side of Eve. Perfect. And we need to be better on our normal here. Yeah, that's the best we're going to get. We'll just have to deal with the fact that it's garbage. But, yeah, we still want to bring our prograde in a little bit. We just want a nice, tight arrow braking here. And that is in a very large number of days. That is in 97 days, and it's the next thing to happen. I think, though, that we're going to get him out of the Sphere of Influence. Super, you are leaving. Oh, there goes Minmus. That's pretty sweet. Minmus just flew by. Close the alarm on pause, and now we are in space. And Super, you have a long, long time to wait. All by yourself. Okay, I won't sing. Okay, I do want to see, though, I want to show you something, or see for myself. If we turn on debris, oh, I did bad. It's actually, it might someday intersect Moon, but I think it's too low. And it's too high. It's Kerbin Periapsis is too high, and it's not quite reaching Moon. That sucks. Yeah, see, he's never encountering Moon. Oh, well. Space debris. We'll just pretend it's not there. Okay. Yeah, I think the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try you guys' asteroid redirectors that you've been sending me. I have 2 of them. For the ultimate thing in the series, I would like to do something with an asteroid. And I honestly don't know what. If somebody sends me a ship and says, hey, this ship is to take an asteroid to Lathe, I'll try it. I honestly don't care. But I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to track a few asteroids next episode, and then we're going to send up the 2 ships that people have sent me to grab asteroids. And those are Kyle's arm assistant, Kyle, with the sending me all the ships. That's this guy here. He's got a grabber and some cool stuff, and he can even do science. And we've also got Marindel's Flying Brick, which contains experimental parts, so technically we can use it, even though we haven't researched the parts. And oh my god, this thing is huge. I don't think I've ever actually looked at this thing. This is obviously designed to land an asteroid. Hull vessel minus drop tanks can land safely on Kerbin once mission is over. Oh, once mission is over. Docking port between main tank and drop tanks in case refueling is desired. Ship would also make a decent extreme range rescue tug or vessel. We're going to launch both of these things and try to capture 2 asteroids, I think, is the goal. Or launch one of them to capture the asteroid and then launch the other one to connect to the asteroid and then send it somewhere. Those are my two options, and I don't know which one I'm going to do, but I'm going to figure it out next time. I hope you enjoyed watching me send my ships to Dres and Eve. I definitely enjoyed sending those 2 ships to Dres and Eve. I am Fifth Horseman, and I will, as always, talk at you later.